Consulting firms are charging $20,000 to do a piece of research that this AI tool can do in just 5 minutes and $20 of your hard-earned cash. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how to use Gemini's deep research tool, brought to us by the one and the only Google. In this video, I'm going to give a demonstration as to how to use it, what you need to have set up in order to be able to get access to it, and also explain some of the key differences between other research tools like ChatGPT or Perplexity AI, and even Google's own Notebook LM. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name is Alfie Marsh. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company called Toolflow AI. We help people like you build your own AI agents and automations without a single line of code through our platform. And we also have an AI agency where we coach, do workshops, and then also build custom AI solutions for businesses like yours. So if you're interested in either of those two, just click on the link in the description below. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So Gemini is Google's answer to ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude. It's another chat interface that allows you to talk to large language models, in other words, AI. Now, they just released a feature for Gemini, which is called Gemini's Deep Research. It's really a research tool that allows you to do exactly that, deep research. Now, there are a number of other research tools like Perplexity, ChatGPT, and so on that can help you perform research, but this one is very particular. So in order to explain how good this product is, first we need to understand how does ChatGPT versus Perplexity actually work. Now, let's go ahead and jump into ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask all three platforms the same question. So in ChatGPT, I'm going to ask this question. Compare the approaches of OpenAI, DeepMind, and Anthropic in ensuring AI alignment and safety. What are the key differences in their methods, research priorities, and public transparency? In fact, I actually asked ChatGPT to give me a good question that will demonstrate the differences between these three products. So we're putting them to the test. Now, what you'll notice is ChatGPT is just responding automatically. Now, when there aren't any citations, there isn't any use of Google search. That means that ChatGPT is using their basically training data of their language model to answer the question. So it's kind of this reflexive answer. So you ask a question, it's just going to output an answer straight away. So it does give me a pretty good answer. It's pretty decent. Okay, so let's jump into Perplexity AI and try this question. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. So right away, you can see that we've got sources and we have the answer, and it's given us a much more robust answer with citations. So what's happened here? Basically, Perplexity AI is taking your query and it is going to then rewrite that query with lots of different kind of permutations. And then it will go and search the internet and it will pull out the kind of relevant sources, and it's going to take that information and kind of put it into a big prompt and then answer your question based on that. So it works very differently to the way that Google works, where you just type in a question and you get links that Google thinks is going to answer your question. Now, the main benefit of this kind of tool, and we're going to touch on as to why Gemini's deep research is similar, is because when you have a question that is not directly answered by one link, and actually that question may be answered by looking across multiple pieces of information, Google's just generic search doesn't work very well. That's why tools like Perplexity are amazing, because they can actually look for the answer of your question across multiple sources, even if any single resource doesn't answer the question directly. So this is fantastic. And as you saw in that quick demonstration, Perplexity AI gave me an answer very, very quickly. So it's great for me to kind of ask questions, and really it's an answer engine. I ask a question, I get an answer. Google is actually just a blue link engine. I ask a question and it's going to give me a blue link that I can go and search and see if that page has the answer. Now, this is slightly different from Gemini's deep research. So let's go and jump into deep research and see how it works. Now, before jumping in, it's worth noting that you do need to be on the premium plan, which costs about $20 per month. There is a first month for $0, so you can try it without having to pay anything. The other thing that you should notice is down here, processing vast amounts of information. So it says it can analyze up to 1,500 pages of text. Now, this is because Gemini is run by Google's models, which have a 1 million token context window. And for anyone who doesn't know what a context window is, it's basically the amount of text that you can put inside the prompt when you're asking a question. For comparison, ChatGPT has about 128,000 tokens, and Anthropic's Claude has about 200,000. So this is 5 times larger than their next kind of in line in competition. Now, why is that so important? Well, it means that you can put a ton of information and context inside that question or inside that prompt, and it allows the language model to have a lot of information that it can then process. So this is fantastic for when you have research that is going to look at potentially hundreds, maybe even thousands of different sources. Now, one other piece of important information for you before you create your account is that this advanced deep research is only available on the personal email addresses. If you sign up and pay $20 on your professional Gmail address, you won't get access to it. I made that mistake and I had to cancel the subscription. So just make sure that you're doing this on your personal email. Now, once you're ready, go over to Google Gemini. Now, once you're ready, go over to Gemini, and you'll see on the top left-hand corner, it will probably be defaulted to 1.5 Pro, which is the kind of standard model. You should have deep research in the drop-down. If you don't have this and it says advanced, it means that you've probably on your professional Gmail address and you need to create one on your personal one. So let's go in and ask the same question that we asked to ChatGPT and Perplexity. Now, what this is going to do is something fairly similar to Perplexity, where it will take that query and it's going to go and find a bunch of links. But before it does that, it actually creates a research plan. And that research plan is then to be verified by us. So as you can see, it kind of says, okay, in order to answer this question, I'm going to go through these, 8 different points here. So what are the key differences in their methods, so on and so forth? We want to find information on OpenAI's approach. We want to find information on DeepMind's, and then Anthropic's. Then it says compare and contrast the information found in 1, 2, and 3. Look for specific examples. Find any criticisms or concerns, and so on and so forth. So this gives me the opportunity to edit this plan. All it's going to do is ask in the chat how to edit it. So if I click this plan here, it's going to rewrite it and say, what do you want to change? And I'm going to say, actually, the plan is perfect. Now, if I did change the plan, it basically would update that and then it would ask me to confirm it. So I'm just going to go ahead and see what this does. Now, what you'll see happening is it's going to start looking at different websites. Now, I asked a fairly simple question, so it's not going to ask too many different sources. In this case, it's looking at 14 websites. It's going to go through each one of these sources. It's going to scrape the information from it. It then passes through a kind of a verification test to see whether this source is relevant and whether it's high quality and good material, and whether it actually answers the questions that was laid out in the plan. So this has a much more robust vetting process compared to that of Perplexity AI, which in my opinion makes this a much better and sort of superior answer that we're going to get from it. Now, this is going to take a couple of minutes, so we're going to fast forward through this and skip to the point where the research report is actually generated. Okay, so we're nearly done with the report, and you can see that it's updated it from 17 to something like 43 websites. So that also kind of highlights how it's not just doing these sequential kind of searches for sites. It's actually taking information, checking whether it answers the kind of plan, and then goes off and searches for more information if the original plan wasn't taken care of. So we finished up with about 43 websites that it's looking through. And here we go. It's going to pull over the report for us. Okay, there we go. Now look at the difference. So that, and if I compare that kind of answer to Perplexity, I've got, 1, 2, 3 sections, about 3 paragraphs in each. Here, this is kind of a much, much more detailed report here. Now, the key thing, outside of the fact that you've got all of your references and your citations, the thing I love about this is it can, one, present information in a better way, but I can actually now start asking questions about this very specific information. And I say, okay, what are the top 3 takeaways from this research? Now, this seems quite like a basic thing, but actually it's something that other tools aren't very good at. The reason I prefer this compared to something like Perplexity AI is because the amount of research is far deeper in Google's Gemini. And so when you're asking these questions, it's going to be based off of a really well-researched piece of kind of information. Like the library of research here is just more robust. If I was to go back and ask questions again in Perplexity AI, it's not really following up on the same question. It's actually going to be a follow-up question that does a new search for. And so it's just a bit of a different kind of experience. Like, I much prefer this. Now, the question I asked here was kind of almost a more philosophical one. But if there was one where I was putting out very like specific data and numbers, what I like to do is do research on a particular topic. Like if I'm making a video and I'm trying to get data and statistics, it's very easy for me to kind of do this mass deep research across a large corpus of information and then ask what were the top 10 statistics that I can then use in somewhere else, maybe a LinkedIn post or my blog post and so on and so forth. So I really like the fact that it keeps all of that history in the chat. Now, again, once this has been done, that's great. Now what I can do is I can continue asking questions, or I could continue going and learn sort of deeper research in more subsets of this information. The other thing I really like about this is because Google Gemini is integrated into the Google's ecosystem, I can very easily just click on Open Docs, and it's going to open that up in Google Docs for me, where it's going to be ready to edit with the same formatting. You've got the table of content there. So it's just a very nice format for me to go and use afterwards. Okay, there you have it. So this is now one of my favorite research tools. So one of the main things we need to take away from this is Google's deep research is really good for searching everything that's available in public documentations on the internet. It's much better than Perplexity AI for those kind of deeper, more well-researched, more thorough kind of reports that you want to generate. Perplexity AI is much better at these kind of quick, snappy answers that you can kind of interrogate again and again and again. Now, there's a difference with Google's Notebook LM, which we haven't really discussed today, and I will do another video on that. But people often get them too confused because they both have the same value proposition. And if you go to Google's Notebook LM, it basically says this is your personalized AI research assistant. And if we go to the press release of Google's deep research, you can see it also says your personal AI research assistant. So if there's two different products, what is the difference between them? Well, the quick answer is deep research allows you to search the internet for publicly available information. Notebook LM is a platform that allows you to upload your own documentation, and that may be YouTube links, PDFs, transcripts, podcasts, any sort of kind of like file format that you like, and then extract information from that. So one is going to search for information, which is deep research, and the other one is going to synthesize information you provide it. So the way I would see these two tools, you can use Gemini's deep research to perform research on the internet, create that document, and then I'd upload that document to Notebook LM along with other documentation, other resources that you find to then go and do something with that. So two slightly different use cases. And there you have it. These are AI research tools that can replace $20,000 McKinsey consultants and perform research that would take days or even weeks to perform in literally just minutes. Now, if you like this video, you might also like my Perplexity AI tutorial, so you can check that out. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Thank you very much.